As we all know, one of the more electric atmospheres in this game is Minute Maid Park during the postseason. As we turn on NTT Ballpark cam, we're getting close to first pitch, slated for just after 3:30 Eastern time, and it'll be thrown by Framber Valdez. And to set the scene for us, boots on the ground, my guy, JP Morosi, my dear friend, hopping in the two box with me. And let's start with Framber Valdez, JP. He was a walking quality start in 2022. You knew every time he took the ball, he was going to give the Astros a chance to win. And he's been on this stage before. Now, 2020, he absolutely shoved. Last year was a little different. He struggled in the post. So how has his approach to starts in October changed since last year?
Stephen, good afternoon. I think one of the key moves for Framber Valdez has been off the field. Dr. Andy Nunez, one of the quiet heroes of the Houston Astros. He is the team psychologist based in the Dominican Republic, and there was a great story written earlier this year by Chandler Rome in the Houston Chronicle about how, by working with Dr. Nunez, Framber learned how to better control his emotions on the mound, breathing during the course of an inning, taking that time perhaps off the mound or even on the mound to just set his mind and his focus and make better pitches. You see it there. He's been dynamite all season long. And Steven, you go back to last year in the playoffs against the Boston Red Sox, there were moments of greatness and moments when he struggled, and that was the case as well in the World Series. So now you have Framber Valdez in a case where he has a lot of experience and now the mentality that it takes to slow the game down. We hear that so much from veteran players, Stephen, at this time of year. For Framber, it's not just a saying, it's an actual mantra that he's worked on mentally, psychologically with Dr. Nunez, one of the quiet heroes of this Astros organization. Now, typically, Stephen, when you win a game like the Astros did in Game 1, you would see almost no changes to the lineup. That is actually not the case here for the Astros. Two new players in the lineup, Aledmys Diaz and Jake Meyers stepping in. Trey Mancini, Chas McCormick are out.
JP, when you talk about Framber, once you become a verb or an adjective, Framberize, you're doing something right in this game. And I know you have a deep appreciation for the history that we have with these two Dominican-born starting pitchers, just the fifth pair of Dominican-born pitchers to match up in a postseason game. Very special for them, their families, and their country. On the other side of this matchup, Seattle, you talked about the devastating fashion in which they lost Game 1, and you heard our guys say they're expecting them to come out banging again because the offense has been good. What about this team gives them the confidence that that bounce back will occur?
Well, Stephen, it was a short time ago Scott Servais articulated exactly that. He said, we came in for this game about as normal and ordinary and regular as you could possibly imagine a team coming into a game. That's a good thing for the Mariners because, Stephen, when you consider all that happened in the late innings of Game 1, the best lesson for that on the opposite side was what happened in the late innings of Game 2 in Toronto. The Mariners have lived it on both sides. No more surprises right now for this Seattle team, but what they do have is La Piedra, the Rock, is on the mound, one of the best nicknames in Major League Baseball. And I loved what X talked about and the adjustments that could happen by the Astros, different from Toronto. We talked a lot about the Blue Jays during the course of the season, Stephen. They don't really have that power lefty bat. Now let me think about this. Does Houston have a power lefty bat? Oh yeah, they do. That ball still rattled around the bleachers from what happened at the end of Game 1. Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker as well for good measure. So for me, Stephen, here in the ballpark today, listen, we're all fans. And when Yordan steps in against Luis Castillo, I think everybody's going to put the phones down, lean forward in your chair, and just watch. It's going to be two of the greats in our game going at it. I can't wait to see that happen. Hopefully 3, 4, maybe even more times than that here this afternoon.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you, John Paul Morosi. Thank you,
and likewise, Stephen. Thank you so much. Thank you. All the best.
Continued safe travels and excellent work down there for us in multiple languages. Thanks, JP.